Hey guys, welcome to part 7 of the e-commerce app playlist. In this video I will show you how you can use Firestore to save the user data, because so far we have not saved the user data like the first name, last name, the email and the profile image. Okay, so first of all I would like to start with a little bit of theory so you can understand the basics about Firestore database in Firebase. So basically there are two ways of saving data in Firebase. The first way is called real-time database, and there is also the Firebase Firestore, which is the one that we're gonna use in this project. So what is Firestore database? It's a document-based database, so it's not a relational database like SQL, but it's based on collections and documents. So each collection describes a set of data, which is kind of like tables in SQL. Well, it's not tables, but for now let's consider it like a table. And for example, in our app we will have the user collection, which will save the user's data like the first name, last name, the email and the profile image. And each collection can have multiple documents, and a document is like a record in the relational database. Also, each document can have a sub-collection. Which can have also sub-documents inside that sub-collection. And you will see all of that in our project, and you will understand it better when we get to it. So what we are going to do in this video is just to enable the Firestore database and create our user collection and save the user documents inside that, and save the user data documents inside that collection. And I will show you how we can do that now. Okay, so first of all, go to the Firebase console and you can see here Firestore database and real-time database. As we said, we're going to use the Firestore database, which came after the real-time database. So let's actually use that. Click on it. And now we're going to enable it. So create database, and there are two modes for accessing the database, the production mode and the test mode. So these rules just describes who is allowed to read and write from our database. For now we will use the test mode because we are developing the app, and as you can see we have this message, that this rule will allow anyone to read and write from our database. We will change that later when we finish building the project. We will add some more rules to our database, and that's fine for now. So click on next, and now select the location of your database. So you can see you have US in the United States, in Europe. So this actually depends on your majority users, where they are from. So for me, I'm just gonna use Europe because they're closer to me. And then I'm gonna click on enable. Okay, once it's done loading, you will be directed to this page. First of all, we have 4 tabs at the top. We have the rules that I've talked about. We have indices. We're gonna use this later. We have usage here. It will show you the number of reads and writes and deletes from your database. So we're not interested in this. Now let's go to data. And as we said, we have collections and documents. So we can create a new collection from here, and we can choose the collection ID. So each collection you create, it must have a unique ID. We're not gonna create that from the Firebase. Instead, we're gonna create that from our project from Android Studio. So let's go to Android Studio now, and we're gonna add the dependency of Firestore. So any dependency you wanna add that's related with Firebase, you can add it by going to Tools, go to the Firebase, and we have all the Firebase services in here. So we can add the Firestore, which is this one, Cloud Firestore, and then click on Get Started with Cloud Firestore for Kotlin. So there's a specific dependency for Kotlin. Click on that, and then you're gonna add the SDK. Click on Accept Changes and wait until the Gradle build is done. Okay, so now let's actually start saving the user data inside our collection. First of all, let's go to our view model, because there where we should write that code inside the view model, and we want to save whenever we have a new user is registered. So inside the create account with email and password, we're going to save the user data. And for that, we're going to need an instance from the Firebase Firestore. So to get that, we can pass it in the constructor using Daggerhelt. So I'm gonna pass it later, private val Firestore, which is Firebase Firestore. Or we can just name it DB, which is database. Now we will actually save the user data in case the register operation was successful, and we can know that it was successful in this function. in this listener. So inside here, we're gonna remove this for now, or we're gonna comment it, and we're going to call the save user function, which is we're gonna create now. So save user info, and we're going to send it, which is the user. Let's create that function. We're gonna use the db dot, we wanna save it inside the user collection, so collection, and here we're gonna pass user. And for that, I would like to have a class where I put all the collections or the collection names in. So inside the URL package, let's create a new class, call this constant, or we can just make it an object actually. We're going to use const val, and now we want the user collection. And the ID of that user collection is user. Now go back to the view model, and in here we're gonna call the user, and in here we're going to call the user collection constant. We're gonna import it, and one thing I want to change is in the parameters. So this will be the user UID, which is a unique ID for each new user that registers in your account. And to send that from here, we're gonna use .uid, and this will be a string. We also want the user now, which is user. Okay, so far we have used the user collection. Now we want to create a new document inside that user collection, and we want to call that, and we want that document ID to be the user ID, because later on we want to retrieve that user. We can retrieve it by the user ID. And finally, to save the user object, we're going to use the set function. And as you can see here, we save an object, and user is an object. So we're gonna pass user, and that's how you save. And that's how you save a new document inside the collection in Firestore database. And as we did in the create account function, now we can have listeners. So add on success listener and add on failure listener. So in here, we're gonna cut this comment, and this time it will be in here. And now we will send the user. But the success here, we receive Firebase user. Let's change that. Let's actually receive a user from our user data class, and this will be a user as well. Go down, and on the failure, we can copy this one, and we can paste it in here. And that actually it. Now let's create a new account and see if everything works. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is to provide the dependency. I said that I will do that later and I forgot. So let's go to the DI app module, and we're gonna provide the Firestore dependency. So as we did for the provide Firebase authentication, this will be a provide function, and we want it singleton, so we will have one instance throughout the whole app, and then provide Firebase Firestore database, and this will be Firebase.Firestore. We will import that, and that's it. Let's run the app. Let's create a new account. So I'm gonna type the first name. Let's call this test account. Password, and let's create that account. Okay, the registration is done. Let's open the Firebase console to see if we get the user data inside our database. So far there is nothing. Let's reload. We should see the user collection, and there should be one document for that user. So let's check that. And yup, as you can see, we have the user collection, we have this document and this ID for that user, and here we have the user data, and here we have the user data, email, first name, image path, last name, which are the same inside our data class, inside our user data class. So these are the same that we got in here. Now if we go to the authentication, Let's go to there, and we can see this. And as you can see, this is the user that we just have created, and this is the user UID I have told you about. Where did it go? Here it is. And as you can see, the UID we get in here is the same that we put in this document. So that was all I wanted to show you in this video. In the next video, we will set up the navigation between all the fragments, and we will finish the login and register activity. Then we will start working on the shopping functionalities in this app. So that was all for this video. If you like it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on my Instagram page. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching again. Catch you in the next video.